What's up, everybody? Welcome to Metallicist, the Metal Music Analysis, here for another album review. Today we're looking at Brothers of Metal, the album Emblas Saga. Emblas? I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. This is a power metal band, and I think this is their sophomore album. I haven't heard the first one, but before we hop into the music, let's look at the album art as always. So I always love power metal art. I think that's my ideal art with album work. It just looks the most amazing to me. I love the art style, the fantasy art, or even sometimes the comic book end of those things. It just really draws you in, and you just want to look at the album cover forever. At least that's my view of it. And because it's usually about war and mythology and battles, and it has an epic feel, it makes sense that covers would match. They have a really cool logo as well. It's very metal, and it has a lot going on in it with looks like some different runic symbols and things like that. So this one's all about, if you're familiar with Nordic mythology, the world serpent, and telling the story of how I believe if I understand it correctly, Thor and Loki go together and fight the world serpent, and eventually the world serpent is fated to fight Thor, and then Thor and the world serpent both kill one another, and that is Thor's fate. And so this is a picture of the world serpent, and it's super awesome. It captures the enormity of the world serpent with that small Viking ship next to it. You've got Valkyries flying in the sky that look barely noticeable with its sheer size, and the splashing waves show how massive it is. I think it's just super cool to look at. So 5 out of 5 on this album cover. It's what made me want to listen to it anyways. But what about the music? So power metal can be hit or miss for me. Power metal is on like a razor edge that's always balancing between cheesy and seriousness. And cheesy, corny stuff can be okay if you have good riffs that go with it, if it's meant to be satirical, or if you are doing it intentionally and you know it's a little bit corny, but so what, you enjoy it. Brothers of Metal does a pretty good job of not being overly cheesy. There are a couple of cheesy songs on here, but one of them, it seems very funny, like they knew they were being funny, so it doesn't really bother me much. But there's also some really awesome songs here. So I'm going to start with the highlights. For me, Power Snake, Hell, Chainbreaker, Njord are all just phenomenal songs. Njord being my favorite. It has such a good groove to it. It has a good chanting war epic type of chorus that you can sing along to. And I just love the guitar riff. I listen to metal for the guitar work, and I think that has some great guitar work to it. Chainbreaker has a very catchy chorus. Chainbreaker! So whatever they say after that. I'm not always good with lyrics. And they repeat that a couple of times. I guess they have 8 people in the group when I was just looking them up a little bit. And it looks like they have 3 vocalists, or maybe 2 main vocalists, and one of them's a backup vocalist who's also a guitarist. I'm not sure. But you can distinctly tell there are 2 male voices often and 1 lead female voice. And the lead female has a phenomenal voice. And she does the chorus for Chainbreaker, and it sounds epic. There's one of the male voices that I like much better than the other. I don't know whose is what, but the song 1 is the cheesy song on the album that I really don't like. I give that one like a 1.5 or a 2. It's too corny for me, just the way it's sung, and I think that's the one they have a music video for. When power metal bands get around and sing about "we're epic to victory," it's too corny for me. I can't really handle it. And that particular vocalist sounds even cornier when he sings it. The other one has a more of a gruff voice that sounds more like a Viking to me, that matches what these songs are supposed to be about. So Power Snake is another awesome song, though. That's the first one I listened to on the whole thing, well, besides the first track. But the first track's more of an instrumental opener interlude, so it's not quite a full song. Great way to start a track, but I don't really consider it in the same way because it's not quite a song. And the Power Snake's about the world serpent, obviously. It has some cool war chants, some great guitar riffs. The chorus is very powerful. Also an epic song. The song about Hell is just another powerful tune. That female, I looked her up, I think her name is Ylva. I'm not sure how to say her name. Eriksson, very Nordic Viking name. She's got a powerful voice, and it shines in this song as well. So those are the tracks you should really check out. My personal favorite being Njord, but all of those are epic. Brood of the Trickster, the opening one that I just mentioned, the instrumental. Great way to start the album. Theft of the Hammer is the other kind of cheesy one, but I think it's intentional because I think there's some comedic elements to it. Like there's a couple lines in there. He woke up in fear and doubt, hammer in hand, and mad, I think. Give it back to me at once, you thief, or I'll go tell my dad. I didn't sing it at all in tune. That was terrible. But anyway, the whole point is, or I'll go tell my dad, is a funny, goofy line that doesn't really fit in there, coming from Thor. And then Thor, when he gets his hammer back, says, "It's hammer time." Obviously, it's a funny pop reference to the song by MC Hammer. So I think it's a really funny song, but I think they're intending to be funny with it. So it's a good song. I give it a 3. Weaver of Fate has some cool humming at the beginning and an acoustic intro, kind of a ballady feel. It's pretty good, but it doesn't wow me, so I'd give that one a 3. Emblas Saga is the first 4, so the first ones I mentioned were all 5s. And then Emblas Saga is like a long epic that really describes what's going on in the story. And it's really good. It's got some really good parts to it. It's just a bit long, and I don't mind a long song, but a long song's got to have enough transitions and variety to it, or it has to be so good that you don't mind listening to it for a longer period of time. But I found myself getting lost a little bit and being ready to move on. So if it had been shortened just a little bit, it'd be perfect. But it's still a really solid song, so I give it a 4. Brothers Unite kind of is that little bit of cheese of power metal, but it's not overly cheesy. Good tune, good riff, but just that, like, modern day people singing about going to war who aren't actually going to war. I don't know, it strikes me as a little corny. So I give it a 3.5 just for that reason. Then the last 2 songs, Ride of the Valkyries and To the Skies and Beyond, are solid tunes, but they also don't stand out. In particular, I don't think the album necessarily needed them, so I gave them both 3s. Wasn't particularly impressed by them. And Dagas, I don't think I'm even saying that remotely correctly, the 5th track on the album is just meh, 2.5. And I don't really have much to say about it. You just listen to it like, eh. And that's just kind of how I felt when I listened to it. So I know I have some songs that I only gave like a 2 or 3, and there's one song in particular that I really didn't like, which was 1. But there are 5 actually really awesome songs that I would give 5s to, which makes this a really strong album. Those are worthy of the playlist and worthy of repeat listens, and I go actively search for those songs because they're really enjoyable to listen to. And I think the record's so good that it's made me want to go listen to their debut album, which is what I'm going to do after this video, and check that out, which also has a really cool album cover. So yeah, I really like this album. I think I'm going to give it a 4.5 overall. It'll be on the top 10 list at the end of the year for sure. Excellent album. I'm curious to see what else this band releases. I really enjoyed this piece. Let me know what you all think in the comments below. If you enjoy these videos, hit the subscribe button.